to the entertaining Talkin' Sports.
What is going on, football fans? Back at it with another New York Giants video as the NFL draft is about 24 hours away now, and I'll be live tonight to talk draft, to just answer your questions. We're all super excited as the draft almost gets here. I'll be live in about 3 hours, so hopefully you come by for that. But before I do, this was a suggestion given to me by one of my subscribers to kind of break down the interview that Isaiah Simmons had today on First Take regarding his role in the NFL, how he thinks he would fit with the New York Giants, or any team for that matter, as he tries to drive up his draft stock. And before I get started, I just want to give a quick shout-out to one of my best subscribers, Taco, who suggested the video on Twitter. And I always say, whenever you guys get an idea, especially now, you know, after the draft, as things are going to start to die down, I'm sure I'm going to still have a lot of content up on the page, but the more ideas you guys give me, the better. And I try to do video ideas that you guys, want to see. So Tago, I know he's a huge Simmons fan, as is probably most of the people watching this video, said, hey man, please think about it before you say no. Can you please make a video on your thoughts on Simmons talking to First Take today and basically just breaking down some of the things that he had to say? And absolutely, Taco's always in my live streams and a huge, great Giants fan, and a great supporter of the channel. So absolutely, Taco, thank you for the recommendation. Thank you for being a great subscriber. So we're going to jump right into it. I'm not going to pause it after every time Simmons speaks. I'll probably let it go, through two different questions and then give my thoughts on what he had to say so I could get this moving as quickly as possible. But let's jump into the interview. It's 6 minutes long with ESPN.
Isaiah, why would you be a great fit in New York?
Personally, I feel like I would be a great fit anywhere, just for the fact that with my versatility, I can fit into any defensive scheme, no matter what it is. And I feel like I'd be a great fit anywhere because when getting me, it's like getting three players in one. So.
Isaiah, when they talk about you, they talk about the fact that you can play linebacker, safety, you can cover in the slot, you can pretty much do it all. You led Clemson not only with 104 tackles, but 67 solo. My question to you would be, where do you think the best usage of Isaiah Simmons is? Should you be a linebacker? Should it be all over the field, just versatile? Or should you be a specialist? What are your thoughts?
Honestly, I feel like you could do a little bit of both because, a lot of defenses, they run a lot of sub packages, so I could fit great in there as well as being like an outside linebacker, static linebacker, or even a strong safety. So personally, I feel like just put me anywhere near that ball and I'm going to make it happen.
All right, so we'll pause it there. Just go over quickly what he said. I mean, he's not saying anything different than what he said at the Combine. He's not saying anything different than what we know. When asked at the Combine, basically these same questions, he said, I'm a football player. I'm going to do what you want me to do. I'm capable of doing everything. I'm a Swiss Army knife. And he is. That's the attraction with Isaiah Simmons. You can play him on the outside. You can play him on the end. The question is, and they're going to get to it, is that almost a weakness of yours because you don't have a set strength. You're kind of all over the place. But I do think, and I've been on record of saying this, I do think he could be a great player in the National Football League. I don't know if he will be, but I think he is, what the future linebacker is going to look like. A guy that you could use in a variety of ways. I think it's incredibly valuable, especially his strength at pass coverage. And that's what he goes on to say. Now, he did kind of say, I feel like you have three players. Yes and no. You could use him in three different ways, but you could only use him in that way once per time. You know what I'm saying? It's not like he could be used as a safety, linebacker, and an edge rusher all in the same play. So, yes and no. But I do think he's very versatile. I think it's what Joe Judge is looking for, not just on defense, but on offense. Now, jack-of-all-trade players don't always work out. Let's also take that into account. And that is part of the risk for Isaiah Simmons. It's what people talk about. I do not bash Isaiah Simmons, though. I think he will be a very good player in the National Football League, and I see why people are drawn to him. All right, let's jump into the next couple of questions.
The evaluations of you range from he's actually the best player in the draft overall to there was one executive who recently said you were overrated because while you're very versatile, if you don't have a creative coach, then you'll be stuck in a system that won't work for you. You won't be able to dominate in any one at middle linebacker or at safety or something like that. Do you think that today's NFL, where your kind of versatility is valued, means that no matter where you go, there's going to be a good enough coach? Or are there some coaches you watch where you go, boy, I'd really like to play for that guy?
I don't really think that there's any systems or coaches out there that I could end up being with where they wouldn't really know what to do with me. Like I said, I just feel like with my versatility that wherever I ended up or whoever I ended up with, that everything would be fine. I'm a 4-down player, not like a sub package guy at all. So I feel like that doesn't really matter about the scheme or the coach.
As far as that goes, I agree and disagree to an extent. I do think Isaiah Simmons is definitely versatile enough where he could fit in any scheme in the NFL, but he may not be able to fit the same way, if that makes sense. I think what the Giants are trying to institute is a defense that shows you a lot of different looks. Now, there's some defenses that are a strict 4-3. Nothing strict, but not as versatile as what the Giants are trying to institute. Not as versatile as, say, what the Patriots try to do. I think he fits better in the type of system that I think Patrick Graham is going to try to bring to the New York Giants, where they could show you any different look on any said play. I don't think he would fit as well if he had a defined role, if that makes sense. So I do think he fits better with the Giants. I think that's why people are drawn to him. I think he would fit better with a team like the Dolphins. I think he'd fit better with a team like the Patriots. And I think there's some defenses where he would not fit as well. But on those defenses, I think they'd find a role for him for sure, whether it was to be a safety, a linebacker, whatever it may be. But I do think he fits better with a defense that shows you a lot of different looks.
You had 11
Isaiah, I mentioned this earlier.
in your collegiate.
Go ahead, Stephen A.
Sorry, Molly. I said you had 11 sacks in your collegiate career at Clemson over 4 years, but 8 last season. What happened differently for last season for you that didn't happen the 3 previous years as it pertains to that particular category?
I was blitzing from everywhere, so that was definitely something that helped. In the scheme of our defense last year was a little different than it was previous years, which allowed me to be around the quarterback more, around the ball more, which allowed me to get to him. So another thing that was way different was my first 2 years of college, I was a safety, so there wasn't really too many blitzes I had. My first sack actually did come from safety, but last year just playing on the line of scrimmage, stacking in the box, and then also coming down from like a safety position, we had a lot of blitzes dialed into those, which gave me a lot of opportunities, as well as just working on my craft and making sure I had pass rush moves and knowing actually how to beat the tackle and not just out there blitzing.
Isaiah, I need you to flex on people for a moment. I said that you're the top linebacker on all draft boards, but these Ohio State guys, Jeff Okudah, Chase Young, in terms of defensive players, a lot of people have them being drafted ahead of you. Why should you be the first defensive player taken?
I would say the first thing that comes to my mind is on game day you have a 53-man roster, but when you have me, you got 56. So, I'm not a math major, but that sounds pretty good to me.
All right, Mr. Simmons. That's a very creative answer, no doubt about it. He's definitely got some personality, definitely got some confidence, definitely got some spunk. No doubt about it there. We'll go to the first part. As far as the first part goes with Mr. Isaiah Simmons there, he basically just proved what I said. I think if he's used in a certain way, you're going to get the most out of him. He said in his first 2 years, he was used predominantly as a safety, which in certain defensive systems, he'd probably be used in that aspect. And he said he got 8 of his 11 career sacks because he was used a different way. And that makes sense. He was obviously used more in terms of getting after the quarterback, whether it be blitzing, whether it be on the edge. So that would explain that, and I think that's what the Giants would look to do. As far as him saying that with him being on the roster, it's like having 56 people as opposed to 53. To me, it's a creative statement. It's fun, whatever, but that's false. I mean, do the New Orleans Saints have 12 men on their offense when Taysom Hill's out there because he could do multiple things? No. I mean, there's several players in the NFL that could do a lot of different things when they're out there on the field, whether it be offense or defense. It's not like that to me does not warrant him being a better prospect than Jeff Okudah or Chase Young. Now, he may be. We're not going to find out till they step on the football field. But to me, Chase Young is he had, 17 and a half sacks as an edge rusher in college last year. He's a supreme pass rusher. And Jeff Okudah, guy didn't commit a penalty, was the best cornerback in college football and is thought to be the best prospect in the last 4 or 5 years coming out at the position. So that's the argument against Simmons, is you have two players that are great at a specific position where Simmons is kind of very good at a multitude of things. To me, just because he's versatile doesn't make him a better prospect. But that's just my opinion.
So this, because of the pandemic and social distancing and quarantining and that sort of thing, the draft's going to be very different this year, obviously. What are your thoughts as it approaches, having changed, the situation being so different than most years? I'm sure it's a moment you fantasized about for years, and it's not going to be the way you'd imagined. What are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, it's really different, but at the same time, I don't know what I don't know just because I've never been through this process before. But it's definitely different. I guess it's kind of special in a way. Everybody's going to remember this draft class just based off of what's going on around the world now. But I'm really excited for it. It's still like a life-changing moment, something you always dreamed of as a kid, regardless if you're walking across the stage actually at the draft or, just enjoying it at home with your family and friends. So I'm really excited for it.
Isaiah, what the hell happened in the national championship game, man? What happened to Clemson? Is it just about Joe Burrow? I'm sorry to bring back those memories. Just tell me, what happened?
No, I mean, it's not just about Joe. I mean, one person can't win a football game, but, they at the end of the day, the game comes down to explosive plays and third downs, and they won both those battles. So, slowly just started to fall their way after they started winning more third downs and gaining more explosive plays than we did. So.
All right, so there you have it. There was the interview with Isaiah Simmons. That was funny at the end. Stephen A. Smith asking what happened there. I actually did a film review of that game, and Isaiah Simmons actually, I thought, was pretty impressive throughout that game. At the end of the day, and it's what I worry about with the Giants, he's not, and I'm not knocking him, it's pretty much any player not named Lawrence Taylor that's going to be a New York Giant is not going to be able to turn this defense around by himself. He was going up against a superior football team with the LSU Tigers, but in that game, he made a variety of plays that were very strong, especially in the first two drives of the contest. I'm a big fan of Isaiah Simmons at the end of the day. I have just been outspoken saying that I think the tackle is the more important position, and I think this is a very strong tackle draft class. I've seen the Giants struggle on the offensive line for the last decade. I've been pretty outspoken in saying that I think it ruined the second half of Eli Manning's career, and I think they have an opportunity to get Daniel Jones off on the right foot. That's why I've been so outspoken for the tackle, but some people may argue that it's a deep tackle class, and Isaiah Simmons is definitely would be a player that would go a long way towards improving the New York Giants defense. And at the end of the day, I'm going to be happy whether they end up with Simmons or tackle on the draft night. I will welcome Simmons with open arms. As always, guys, if you liked what you watched, please subscribe, drop a comment, maybe give me a little thumbs up. Cheers.